Great. So we'll continue with the Bokken work revision. Well, right. お願いします。
お願いします。
Right. Good. So we'll just loosen your weight. A little bit of shorter routine. One side. At a time. Back to the center. Let's find the ground. Just move the wheels down. I like to settle a little bit every time. As you do it, just pulse out the hands, fingertips, spread. Okay, just rolling the wrists out. Changing direction. Elbows. Change direction. Oh, open up the body. Shoulders. And change forward. The neck. And bringing the elbows, chest open up. Release out the arms gently. It's the hips. Yeah. On the hips, nice big circles. And change direction. Good. And just bringing the knees bending nice and wide. Just going down a little deeper. Stretching them back. And down. And back. And circles, nice and tight. And change direction. Good. Let's press one foot back. Lengthen down the back. Press the heel down. And change. Change now that bend down the knee a little bit deeper. And change the leg. Change and come down to the knee, go into the hip, and just play with extending the leg back, and folding it forward. Stand if you need to on the ground, on the leg. Okay, just holding it forward to bring the opposite hand down. Stretch, press into the foot, just reach the hand up. A little bit up, you can also go a little bit over. The other side, take the body to a little bit of a tight spiral. Whatever feels comfortable. Good. So we should keep the hands down, both hands down, just lengthen back. We've got it. Gently. And release it. Change the leg. Just through it. Good, one more and hold. Bring the hand down. So lengthen up the opposite hand. If you want, open the hip up a bit deeper with a slight spiral of the hip. Nice and slow coming back. Place both hands down. Pull back on the leg, the hip. Great. Bring both knees back. Find the toes. Find the hands. Pull the hips up. So walk out with the back of the legs and the heel. Treading with the feet. And just a few there, just bring the knee to the elbow and then extend the leg out to the back and then place it down and then change legs. Go elbow, extend it out, place it back. Elbow, extend out, press it back. Elbow, extend, press it back. That's a few. And then just hold at the elbow, one knee. Hold it if you can. Find the leg back, hold it. Press the leg down, go to the other side, come to the knee. Knee to elbow. Press the leg back, hold it. And bring the leg back. And just gently press into the hands, press the feet back. Lengthen through the body. And nice and slowly walk the hands back to the feet. Let the spine release, head goes down in between the legs. You can either look behind you or down. And then just really release out the shoulders and the spine. Feel like it's kind of sending a wave from the hip through the shoulders into the ground. The hand. Release and lengthen the spine. And just pause it. Find the feet. Just trace your way up the leg. Slowly press into the ground. Curve the spine up. Great. Good. And we'll just finish with a swing. So just find that kind of shoulder width. Posture. Raise the arms up. Feel the weight in them and then just put them in. Go them in. And keep that nice kind of soft bounce through the knee.
Good. Okay, good. And then we'll just finish just one modification of it. You're going to extend and engage the fingers without the shoulders tightening up. So just extend out the palm, the fingers, and then just bring yourself onto the toes so that the toes slightly clinging to the ground, which isn't what we normally do, but just bring yourself up. Find this kind of like a claw position. Keep the shoulders released, and then just work your way into this, keeping that engaged. And through the movement. Maybe tricky on the balance. Feet engaged, hands engaged. Knees, hips releasing into the movement. Great, keep going. Good. And then we'll do, okay, it's a kind of modification of it. It's kind of a swing, but it's not in a sense. But you want to go a little bit wider with the feet. Wide enough so that you can let the chest basically come to the ground so this way and then pull up. So you're going to, in this one, pull up the elbows, this way to the back. Sink the hips in and press into the ground. And then pull yourself back up with it. So you pull up, press down, pull up, press down, pull up, press in, pull up. Press it, pull up, press it, give it a try. Yeah. That's it. Good. Nice. So there's a video of our sensei doing these. This is a warm up, and you see when he does the up part, he goes boom off the ground. So he like flies into the air when he does it because he does it so powerfully. So when he does this move, he does like this, and he really comes up off the ground as he does it. So, but the feeling here is that the up is as explosive as the down. So this movement and then this movement and this movement and this movement. So like when we do the Kihon, give yourself a pause between both movements, right? But the problem with this exercise would be like it. And I get kind of nothing out of it because there's nothing kind of behind it. So give yourself time at the top. Feel that kind of tension and then feel that the body injects it. And then also it injects up. Injects up. And the arms can be quite soft, but it's really about the legs with this one. Pulling, uprooting. Imagine like uprooting a tree, basically. Yeah. That's it. Good. Good. And then we'll just finish with one kind of a passive one, not really passive, but more passive than that one. You just raise up to the top. You're probably all in this one. You bring the palms together, you come down and you release the shoulder. Release the hands. The English translation for this is called like soul shaking, to shake the soul. Right? So it's the whole body's basically being shook. I think of it in a really simpler way.
What was the name again? You said.
Yeah, sorry. This is called in English. It's called soul shaking, to shake the soul.
Okay.
So it's a deep breath in. The palms link at the top, and then you release that and let the breath slowly out as you do it. There's two. The images are kind of useful and sometimes not, but there's one which is like the arms are like springs, right? So they're not kind of, and they're also not like this. They're like kind of heavy springs in a sense.
And soul as in SOUL
Yeah, Seoul, yeah. Seoul is in necessarily like northern Seoul.
It's still the feet as well.
It's still the feet as well.
Connected in.
You want basically the whole body to do it, right? Northern Seoul.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seoul. I think of this, and I'm a bit more of a practical person than spiritual, so I think about. Oh, where is it? So I've got a jar of this, right? And if you leave it standing this way, all the oil kind of congeals at the top. So before you use it, you need to shake it, right? So I think about this exercise like this. I shake it like this. Now I can do it like this. But nothing really happens with it. So I can shake it with the whole body, right? I can move it with the whole body. So I think about something practical, which is basically something you do all the time anyway, which is like I use my whole body. But in this case, the whole body is creating this kind of impulse into the ground through the hand. But this is a kind of useless exercise if I do this. Or I do like, so it's got to have a function as well, in essence. Although it's totally non-function, but it does that. So we'll just do a couple more to take a breath in. Settle out. And if you're doing this as part of a Shinto ritual, there's like chants you need to do and prayers you need to recite as you're doing it. So there's a whole load of other stuff involved in it, which is why I don't usually teach them, because not really my bag. So, okay, great. Just shake out the wrists. A little up and down. Roll out the arms again. Shake the whole body again. Really a similar exercise. This one's just a bit less focused. With the arms not being together. And just keep that pulse from the center. Let it go up and down. The whole body. Okie dokie. Great. We will do okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Great. So we'll continue the 𝘧𝗪𝗡 work. We'll try and go into some 𝘭𝑚𝑖 work as well, so a little bit more working with some complex movements. But just start with the first 𝘧𝗪𝗡. We just come into 𝘭𝑚𝑖. So find the back and release into the ground. Okay, good. Take it to Zengo. In front and back. Right and left. Okay, good. So especially looking to go towards like �𝗦𝘢𝗪𝗓 work, this again, this idea of like pressing weight out through the cut. So with this one, just watch the back hip as you do it. So there's a tendency as I go to rotation work that I fix the hip and the cut happens. Fix the hip, the cut happens, and the hips either pulling back or trying to just ground down. So think about this, the back hip also engaging through the cut. So think all the time, just play with this slowly, but think that the hips and the sword go together into the cut. Release it, and then the hip back hip go into the cut. So there's movement in the hip all the way through the cut. So the hips engaging, 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 engaging. Just do this slowly, so it's like you just pass it through the arc of the cut. But the tendency is I go to focus on the hips kind of stuck in place. So allow the hip to engage all the time through the motion. We're going to try. Slower is better so that I can really feel that the hip doesn't get kind of stuck. Obviously, you can exaggerate this, you can go too far with it, but I want both hips to be kind of mobilizing into the weapon, into the strike. That's it. Yeah. Good. Nice. That's it. Yeah. Good. Okay, just play with one practice. This is, I was watching a video with 𝘧𝗪𝘳sensei just before, and he's doing a ● practice. So striking, they used to do in Iwama, striking a moped tire. They tied it to a tree and bam, they hit it with a heavy bokken. They used to do it with 𝘧𝗪sensei, but he would use wooden branches before for that. And then 𝘧𝗪sensei was a bit more practical, so he decided to change it for a rubber tire. But one of the things he does is change the grip as he does it. So he uses a narrow grip. Now, this does two things, but one, it makes the wrist a bit stronger in the strike, and it gives me less impact in the wrist. But the other thing, it lets the weight of the sword go forwards a bit more. So rather than being here where it's nice and balanced, the weight's a bit further out. So play with this, with the bokken. So now if I don't ground the body out through the cut, the sword's going to kind of float forward. So the purpose of the ● training originally is not to really hit stuff. It's to make the hips a bit more solid, or a lot more solid. So the idea of grounding the cut basically. So just play with it here, but the hand's a little bit shorter, and just feel that the grounding's here, and that but the feelings at the hips and the center are basically really communicating right into the hands. Now, if the hands are further away, that gets more difficult for the hip. So obviously you don't want to be there, that's too direct, but allow yourself as you do this to just find that position and then change it. Keep that kind of narrow grip. The other one you can do if you want, it's a bit tricky, but you can change the orientation of the bokken. So you take the tip end and then it becomes totally heavy. So my bokken is really weighted in the handle. So in this case, you can also do that. It changes the weight of the sword, but I need the same connection with the body behind it. Or if you've got an oar, you can use your oar. That does the same job. So just play a slightly narrow grip. I just feel that the hands are really communicating to the center. Yeah, so. Great. Now go back to the kind of normal striking position with the hands, so a little bit more space between them. Now just look at it. Try and put a little bit more power into the strike, or just a little bit more focus into it, so that the feeling's a bit more there. And then release it there. You can also do this as Zengo that way, but just feel just give yourself a little bit more of a boom, solid strike. Boom, solid strike. So allow yourself to put a bit more power in, but not at the expense of balance, basically. So just gradually kind of increase the strength of the focus. In this case, not adding strength, but settling the body more, focusing the hands a little bit more. And so. That's it. Good. Good.
Morning.
Hey, so good morning. Okay, we're just working a little bit on Zengo.
Okay.
With the sword. Okay, just notice one thing. So I'm going to exaggerate this, but this happens all the time. Is when I put more power in. Watch this. I put more power in, and this happens. This happens in the strike, right? So I get this kind of whiplash in the face, and the face receives a lot of energy right back. So it does this. Now that will happen if I'm kind of crunching the body into it. The body gets a kickback. It's like whiplash, right, for the face. So try and keep the power a little bit deeper. A little bit deeper, but feel the face is really boom, relaxed, right? Like you've got a mask on, or like you're paralyzed in the face, but you don't want to feel like you get this kind of kick back into the face. So allow the head the face especially, just to release. Yeah. But especially watch this kind of kickback, which you might get in the travels up the neck into the face. That's it. Okay. Good. Okay, we're going to go to number 5. So just do this with a step straight away. So rolling in. Your comment change either 4 or 2. Okay, good. So just spend a little bit of time, just play with this. It's a slightly annoying exercise, but I like annoying exercises. Watch this, the hands get fidgety, right? So I go into this position, the hand, it goes and tries to do all these positions, so it tries to create the movement, and then the body does it, right? So let the arms do that for a few tries. So like, get the start on the arm, start on the arm, start on the arm, start on the arm, and just feel what's happening when you do that, right? The straight away, the center staying stuck in the arm. It's like my bokken's floating away, my arm's trying to catch it. Try and do that, and then let the hips press the sword into it. Yeah. So just play with it a little bit, but it's basically give the arm, give the room to the arm, give the room to the arm, and then do something else. Yeah? So just give it a try. I let the arms be a bit restless, and then I control them because they don't like it. They want to do their own thing. Yeah. That's it. Good. Yeah, got it. Nice. That's it, John. Nice. Good, great. Yeah, great, nice. Very nice. Good, thank you, Ray. Very good. Okay, we're going to take this to 7. So cutting on the right. Yeah, you're coming on the right. Ski on the left. And rotate. 13. And thoracic. And trying to get the hips to communicate with the hands. Eight. Great. Okay, we'll look at the start of the second kumitachi. So this involves this kind of raise up to the top, a deeper cut which goes to the leg, and then the ski to come out of it. So this is the attacking roll, which is the first 2 attacks in this case. So the first step in this is the raise up by draining down. You raise up into Jodan Kamai, don't hit the ceiling. Raise up into Jodan Kamai, and then you release the hip into the cut this way. My attack is for the inside of the front leg, and then you get blocked in this case. So what you do is you roll the hip underneath, and you find the ski. So, yeah. Don't worry too much about line work and all this kind of stuff. Just the attack itself. Try not to hit the ceiling. So you raise from below, raise into Jodan, click into place. There we go. And then release, and then release. Yeah, it's really like a variation on the second super deeper cut and springing out of the ground for the ski. 3, 4. No, stop that. Daniel, good morning. Okay, great. Okay, slightly exaggerate this position, or not exaggerate, but lengthen this moment where you go up to the top. So the tendency of this move is that I either two things. I either don't really do the movement and kind of fall into the strike, or I get to the top of it and I pull back to do the strike. So look for this point as you do it. You come out, just feel that point. Everything kind of clicks into place in terms of grounding, etc. There. And then just feel that the hip can engage directly to the weapon and drags it down. That wasn't very good. This, and then try and feel that the hip is going to connect and drop the sword in. Yeah. And then you're into the ski, the same way, but just lengthen that moment a little bit. Make it longer, basically. Pause at the top, feel that connection and feel that the hip can just drop the hand in. Comes back to, yeah, that's it. Comes back to sort of a bit like signal free, basically. I don't want to give a signal that I'm about to go. I just want to go. Okay, we'll do the same thing, looking at the backwards movement or backwards part of it. So you've got the same raise. I'm going to match the person as they come up. This way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Watch the ceiling, don't hit the ceiling. Now there's a point as I raise, the person's going to click in, and it's the attack's basically going to be, I'm forced into this position if I follow them right. I'm forced into the hands basically going over the head and covering the face. As that happens, that's when, wham, the attack, oh shit, that's when the attack's going to come in, don't hit your ceiling. Wham, so the attack's going to come in for the leg as you do it. So just as the hands pass the face, that's when the attack is going to come in. That's when I would attack, because the person's just a little bit blocked in terms of vision. So think about that. You're going, don't hit the ceiling. You're going to come up, raise, and then the movement is back, straight down the line to protect the leg. Yeah, so I roll, hit back, yeah. And then the thrust is coming into the body. So what I actually want to do from here is go onto the sword and then snap onto the wrist this way. Yeah. So we'll actually practice this because it's a nice kind of movement. This comes down and then I release and I bring the sword onto the top of the hand. Yeah. Because the person's basically in this position and the front hand is exposed totally when I find the block. So my idea is to bring my sword over the top, basically, and strike the hand and take it out. So, or onto the arm. So the pattern now is this: you raise in the same way. You get to the top. You press the hips back, and then you snap onto the top of the hands this way. So it's this, release, this with the head. It's a bit of that. Good morning. Just play with pulsing this a little bit. So the problem again is the arms. So the arms want to do it, and if the arms do it, they pull the center out, and then the body goes into this to try and hold it. So again, you've got like that position. Think that the center presses into the sock and releases it this way. So you should be able to do this with the arms kind of relaxed. If the main thing to watch for is it do it, the arms are actually tense and the body pulls back, right? So think about just pulsing this. This hips bite in, and then hip release the sword this way. Yeah. Just play with that pulsing motion. Good. Nice. Good. Okay, we'll play with the response to it, which is basically as I do that, that's when you've got the person sliding underneath and going for the ski. Now, if I do nothing, they take the center line and they're on the body. So my response now is as I do that, as I release to go to the wrist is no longer there, and I've got the sword coming to here. So what I need to do is roll the hip and wedge my sword between theirs and my center line, right? So the movement now is this. As you release that, roll the hip, and you find the ski back. So it's like you can do this going by entering, and actually in the form, if you wanted to finish, you can just ski straight through if you can control the center line. What we do in the partner practice when we do this, we tend to roll back with it. Yeah. But the feeling is to, if I can't control the center line, what it generally turns out in the 𝘠𝗏𝑡𝑎chi is that I take it to a block. But we'll just play with this step. You can do the whole movement, or you can just kind of start from here. Snap, release, snap into the ski. Release. Yeah. And that key work is like the hip connecting to the hands again. So you can either do the full form like raising up, dropping in, or you can just do a kind of going shorter. Yeah. That's it. It needs to be sharp and a bit snappy. So. Yeah, good. Good. So we'll just finish with one variation. Bigger movement in this case. So it's actually taking yourself off the line. So you come up to the top. You're going to roll in. Now, as I release this, rather than roll the hip back, I'm going to roll the hip through. And I'm going to slice through the movement. Yeah. So this would be right directly for the neck. You go at the top. This, as you release, you roll, take the sword with you, and you slice through this way. Yeah, this is really like a 𝘱𝗧𝗪𝗓. Right, straight through the back of the neck. As you do it. Yeah, take them totally out. So as they're coming through with a ski, you're creeping around the back and whoop, you've got the back of the neck. That's you can either do like a standard 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘦𝘥, or you can do more of a 𝘱𝗧𝗪𝗓𝗧𝗪. Yeah. Last few, just play with the last movement. So don't worry about all the stuff before. Just the problem is this: how do I move the body, connect into the weapon, and release into the cut? This way. Yeah. So this 𝘱𝗧 is a variation on the 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴. Once you've got the 𝘱𝘭𝘢𝑚𝑎 and the 𝘱𝘰𝘦, you can really explore 𝘱𝗧 as a more of a practical cut. 𝘱𝗧 is either going to have the back of the neck to take the head off, or it's going to go straight through the core of the body this way. So it goes by the direction of the heart to chop the body off basically into how you would practically chop a body into, not 𝘱𝘭𝘢𝑚𝑎 like this, where you hit all the bone, basically through the collarbone, through the heart, and through the rib cage, right? So this is the 𝘱𝗧𝗪𝗓. So you're going to release the weapon, and slice through it this way. And again, I need the hips to be basically biting into the strike. We don't tend to do this with the BOKKEN because it's not it is a viable target for the BOKKEN. I basically attack the collarbone, collapse the person's structure. But we don't tend to do it with the BOKKEN because it's really a katana technique.
Michael,
Yeah, sure.
does it have that feeling of barai in it as you're doing the?
A little bit, yeah. It's got that kind of quality to it. So because you're taking the arc in this pattern, so a little bit. Yeah, I mean, generally, 𝘱𝗧 is going to start from this position, right? So I'm in this position, and I just release the hip out. So it's generally you'll see sword schools that deal with wearing armor as well, because you've got a big helmet on, right? You can't do 𝘱𝘭𝘢𝘵 with a big helmet on the head. You hit yourself in the head, right? So they tend to go to these positions. So sword schools that will deal with having armor, right? So they tend to go to this position, right? And a lot of the sword work comes from that angle, right? Which is not really where we deal with, because we're dealing with usually the assumption is we're not armored in Aikido.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a similar feeling to barai, that sense of a kind of. Now 𝘱𝗧's got a little bit more of a slice to it because it's less of an impact percussion cut. It's got this kind of rolling width to it. I would do this with a sword, so it's basically tip led. I'm using the tip to cut through.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But you can use this in BOKKEN where I basically go onto the collarbone and collapse them. Yeah. Lovely technique.
See you later.
Lovely technique for Thursday. Okay, great. Okay, good. We're going to finish. We're a bit. Oh, okay. We'll finish up. Okay. Great. Domo arigato gozaimasu.
Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
Thanks. Okay, there we go. I got a lovely video of 𝘱𝗧𝗪𝗓 actual